If there's one thing we all learned in 2020, it's that change is the only thing that's going to stay the same. So it's really how we respond to change that dictates our success. So when I started thinking about what I could share with businesses who are going through these incredible times of challenge and change, I thought back to the Fast Company magazine article. They took a look at the world's most consistently high-performing extreme teams with an eye toward discovering how did they not just accomplish their mission, but continue to be at the top of their game. And that's what I bring to you in Adapt, Overcome, and Win as One, is those stories and those tactics that the world's most consistently high-performing extreme teams use to cross their most challenging finish lines.
They have traveled here from every corner of the world. For 10 non-stop days and nights, they must hike, mountain climb, paddle, ride, and race through some of the most captivating yet dangerous terrain in one of the last great wilderness areas on Earth.
There are a lot of moments in races where it gets really tough, but we're gonna go faster. We're gonna paddle harder, because we know that's where the competition is gonna slow down a little bit. You know, when they're really challenged, when they're really facing the unknown, that's when they're gonna get slower. But for us, that's when we would make a conscious decision to speed up. When you're in the Class 5 whitewater, when you're mountain biking through really challenging terrain, you know where your stability comes from? Speed. It comes from going faster. So when you're facing those crazy, tough, challenging times, go fast. One thing that I think all of us have learned in 2020, we're never gonna be defined by the setbacks. We're always gonna be defined by our comebacks. It's your moment to decide what is that comeback gonna look like and get to work on creating that comeback right now. One of my favorite stories that I share is about a guy named Dawat Mutang, who was pulled out of his hut in the middle of the Borneo rainforest to race with the best team in the world after they had a teammate break his ankle. This man had never ridden a bike, he'd never been in a boat, he'd never used a map or a compass. He'd literally never done any of these sports, but he had the courage to jump on their team. They almost won. They took second place. And very often, the new person or the rookie or the outside resource can bring such an interesting, and unique background or perspective that they can often be the linchpin, to your team's success. There's also a lot in Adapt, Overcome, and Win as One about adapting. So a lot of our success is about our creativity and our ability to innovate and our agility. And my favorite story, we were neck and neck with the best team in the world. And when we got to the final section where we had to paddle to the finish line, we were given 2 inflatable canoes. And so our competitors grabbed their canoe paddles, jumped in their canoes, and they were gone down the river. And my teammate, Steve Gurney, turned to all of us and he said, "Hey guys, I got an idea. Let's swap out our canoe paddles for kayak paddles because that's our strength. And also tie our 2 boats together end to end." And between those 2 things, that boat was twice as fast.
Solomon Presidio charges forward, determined to catch the leaders before the transition to the sea kayaks.
We blew the doors off the best team in the world and won that race by 2 hours because of that white space thinking that our team was kind of famous for. So the big question is, how are you gonna take your core strengths and talents and background and experience and your creativity and your agility and your amazing resources and your great teammates and say, you know what? I'm not just gonna find a way to tilt the game board in my favor or my company's favor or my family's favor or my customer's favor. Maybe I'm gonna find a way to completely change the game. So it's really important for me to deliver a truly professional product when we do virtual keynotes. So I decided I need to take it up a notch. I went and found an amazing professional studio. It's customized with your logos and your themes. I have an incredible producer, and it's just like we have a full professional setup like we'd have if we were on stage. Neither you nor I have to worry about the tech side. My team has your back, so you can enjoy the show. People see these teams and these leaders succeeding against all odds, like a woman on the top Japanese team that ripped her Achilles tendon. And most teams would have quit. Their team decided to see a challenge instead of a roadblock, and they carried her up and over the tallest mountain in Queensland, Australia.
Hi, you aren't going to believe this. Team Eastwind taking turns carrying their female teammate up Bartle Frere. No lie, over.
I love the fact that all of those members of Team Eastwind had their injured teammate on their shoulders. They made her the hero. We don't inspire the people around us by showing them how amazing we are. We inspire everybody around us by putting them on our shoulders and showing them how talented and useful and worthy and amazing and courageous and smart they are. I love this new keynote because people are genuinely and deeply fired up. They're inspired. They want to take on the next adventure and not just survive it. They want to win this race, and they know that they can do it together. In their heart and soul, they know that if they keep their head up high, their heart open, they connect to the people around them, that anything is possible. That's something that is a gift that I can't wait to give your team.
Yay! Are you guys ready for an awesome adventure? You guys, I was like somewhat ready. Are you guys ready for an awesome adventure? Oh my gosh, I love you people already. We're gonna have so much fun. First of all, I have to say, congratulations. I mean, here you guys are at the top of the mountain. I mean, from what I understand, you exceeded every metric last year, all three brands. You have a crazy, huge, hairy, audacious goal for next year, right? I mean, the future's so bright around here, you guys gotta wear shades, right? I mean, please give yourselves a hand for that. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. And if there's one thing I know about everybody on this All Sweets team, it's that no matter how high you climb on that mountain, you are never gonna be the kind of person that just sits there and throws out a picnic blanket and enjoys the view, right? You guys are always scanning the horizon for the next highest peak to climb in pursuit of your goals. You know, for your properties, for your teams, for your communities, for your families, for your guests, for the brand. So in honor of that perpetual journey, not just from good to great, but great to exceptional, in every aspect of your life, I'm honored to share with you guys what I've learned from some of the world's greatest extreme teammates about how we build and lead the kind of teams that succeed against the toughest of odds, year in and year out, no matter how difficult the challenge or how tough the climb. And especially in those times when change is the only thing that stays the same. And I want to share it with you guys today in the most fun and hopefully entertaining and inspiring way that I can. And that's using some examples from my super silly, ludicrous sport of adventure racing. Just out of curiosity, has anybody here ever heard of adventure racing before like 1 minute ago? Bueller. Yay, I saw 7 hands. Yeah, that's actually a lot, you guys. You should get like a half a hand, and then I see them turn to their buddy and go, oh no, shoot, that's the Amazing Race. So it's a sport that was invented by a crazy, awesome Frenchman and popularized around the world by a little-known character named Mark Burnett, whose name you recognize from Survivor, right? And involves small teams of men and women. You have to have 1 man and 1 woman on each 4 or 5 person team, depending on the rules. And the race director will ask you to meet them in the most remote place they can find on Earth. And they hand each team a set of maps and compasses and rules. And the next morning, they say, ready, set, go. We'll see you guys in 600 to 1,000 miles. Whichever team gets there first wins. And it's all non-motorized transportation. Kayaking, mountain biking, whitewater rafting, mountaineering, and the clock never stops. So if you sleep and when you sleep is all part of your team's strategy. So the winning teams will get like an hour and a half of sleep every 24 hours and be racing the rest of the time. But as if the physical part isn't hard enough, here's a real kicker. Everyone on the team has to stay together within 50 yards of each other from start to finish. I mean, there's not that many people like in our families that we want to spend that kind of quality time with, right? And if one of your teammates quits or is injured and has to leave the race, your entire team is disqualified. So based on the rules of this crazy sport and the fact that we couldn't say that we were successful unless all of our teammates also crossed the finish line, which sounds very familiar to every manager and leader in this room. Most important thing we learned out there had nothing to do with sports. What we learned is that the secret to success is to play less as an individual and more as a team. As a coach, as a leader, you play not your 11 best, but your best 11. In other words, the magic really happens when you as a leader inspire superstar individual team members to also be great teammates. So does anybody here want to be an adventure racer when you grow up now, after that charming description? No, of course not. You're all too smart. Yay. And you have real jobs managing awesome hotels. But guess what? According to Fast Company magazine, every successful business professional is in an adventure race every single day of your lives, and especially you guys, because you have a small team of men and women who are trying to make it through a seemingly endless series of checkpoints in pursuit of a nearly impossible goal, working against extreme time pressures and constantly changing conditions, and with the goal of doing it among the best of the best in the world. Hi, adventure racers. Yeah, this is not a sprint, baby. What you guys do every single day at your hotels, that's an endurance race. And if you want to go fast, you can go alone. If you want to go far, you gotta go. Yeah, so how do we as leaders create those best 11 teams that Vince Lombardi talked about? Well, for my teammates tonight, we call it the 8 essential elements of extreme performance. And this is how we build and lead world-class teams that are better together than any individual could ever be alone. And I'm going to share the highlight reel with you guys today. And we'll start with the T, total commitment. There's no plan B. It detracts from plan A. Total commitment to the finish line. How do we inspire that with all of our team members? Well, we called it the 4 Ps. First of all, an incredible plan that's constantly communicated to the rest of the team, and ensuring that everyone on your team understands their importance and their role in getting to the finish line. An elevated sense of purpose is the second P, your why. Why do you get out of bed every morning? I mean, maybe it's genuinely creating those exceptional experiences for your guests. Or maybe it's your loyalty and love for the brand. I mean, you gotta have something deep in your soul that helps you wake up every single morning, your big why. Because people wanna do well, but they also wanna do something good. Just like you guys are gonna do this afternoon, right? And elevated perseverance is the third P. You always go the extra mile for your guests and for your team members and for your families. And you never let how you feel affect what you do, because feelings are overrated, right? We show our commitment in what we do. And your preparation is the fourth P, because guess who the luckiest people on earth always are? The most well-prepared, right? Because luck happens in those moments where your incredible preparation meets opportunity. But I'll tell you one thing we learned for sure about commitment in these silly races by definition. Commitment doesn't even start until the fun stops. Or as one of my teammates very eloquently put it, hey guys, we don't find out if we're committed to winning this race until it starts sucking. Right? I mean, everybody starts strong. You know, real success only comes to those who are committed to be at the finish. So this first video clip from Adventure Racing I'm going to share with you guys is our team in the jungle in Borneo in the Eco Challenge, where the fun had stopped for us like 5 days earlier. And we're racing the French on Team Intersport, which you'll set as a theme throughout this whole presentation. In these years, it was always our team versus the top French team at the front of the pack, neck and neck. Because the French invented the sport. And we were the first international team of Americans and Aussies and Kiwis and Canadians to ever challenge them at this silly game that they created. So we had a really fun, friendly rivalry with Intersport over the years that kind of became more of like a, okay, best way I can describe our relationship with Intersport is if I have Seinfeld people. Do I have Seinfeld fans? Yeah. My tribe, yay. So eventually we in Intersport had more of like a Seinfeld-Newman kind of relationship. So we're racing them at the front of the pack on day 5. We go running into this caving section. And it appeared as though all we had to do was run into these caves, ascend these 4 ropes, run down this ridgeline, jump into our boats, paddle 60 miles to the finish, and yay, we're gonna win the Eco Challenge. Not so fast. We go running into these caves, and our first step in the caves, up to here, over our knees, you guys. What's at the bottom of caves? Bat poop. I know. And it doesn't even have anything to do with the story. I just have to give you the picture of the day. But as long as I'm on this mini tangent, I have to tell you what happened real quick. Okay, so we're wading through it, trying to find our ropes. And my third step, no shoe. Right? And it was one of those moments, and my sisters, you'll be with me on this, where I had to throw down one of my girl cards. Right, all of us had a girl card, using very sparingly. We do a lot of great things for our teams. We don't have to dig in bat poop for shoes. I'm just saying, there's still girl jobs and boy jobs. It's separate but equal. All right, but I digress. Right, so we finally find our 4 ropes at the back of these caves. And we're ascending up, and we're about halfway up, and suddenly my rope is shaking around. I don't know what the heck is going on. I look down, guess who's at the bottom of my rope? Yeah, little tiny French man. Newman. He was way down there. And the French team captain is actually shaking my rope, and he starts yelling up at me, "Get off the rope, Robyn, we come to win the Eco Challenge." French. So, standard issue me, I kind of go into full panic, and I started ascending as fast as I could, trying to get away from him. And I had a really smart team captain, a guy named Mike Closer out of Vail, Colorado. He quickly assessed the situation. Yeah, Mike Closer fans? He said, "Hey guys, there's only 4 ropes here. It's the only way forward on the course. They can't get past us till we get off." So what do you think we did? Did I hear cut the ropes over here? Is this the sales director section? No, we stopped, right? We stopped. We ate all our food, we drank all our water, we prepared for battle. So we get done doing that for about 15 minutes. We finally pop out the top of this thing, and we quickly realized this section is a hell of a lot longer than it looked on the map. And it's 120 degrees out, and my feet are bleeding, and I'm covered with leeches, and I've been in the same Lycra outfit for 5 days. And I start to kind of figuratively get to the end of my rope, and sometimes when girls get to the end of our ropes, we Sha. There were no shoe stores up there. So there I am crying at the front of the World Championships. And my teammates are running down ahead. Now the best team in the sport is chasing us down the ridgeline behind us. And I can't keep walking because I'm crying, I can't see. And there's a 1,200-foot drop on either side of this teeny tiny ridgeline. So I'm standing there dead still. And finally my buddy Mike realizes I'm not down there with the rest of the team. And he starts trucking back up the ridgeline, and I'm just bracing for impact. Because it was one of those moments where your teammate could have said just the right thing or just the wrong thing, right? So Mike approaches very calmly. I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Okay, Rob, I got a wife and a daughter, and I know that you people have to do this." And then he said, "But there's a difference between people that are going to win this race and people that are going to lose this race. And it's not that people that are going to win aren't crying. It's just that people that are about to win the Eco Challenge are crying." And then he grabbed my hand and said, "And they're walking." And bless his heart, he held my hand as we all cried and stumbled and made our way down that ridgeline the next several hours, being chased by the best team in the world. And I realized the man is right. You know, the way that you show a commitment to your team is in finding a way to bring your very best self, even on your worst day. Or in my case, you don't have to stop crying, you just have to keep walking. So here's a quick little clip in Borneo.
On the ridge to Eton Peak, the lead teams are learning that things are not always as they seem.
There's a fake, false summit. It'll be soul destroying when they get there and realise they've only gone a third of the way and now need to descend and climb higher and higher than ever before. It just takes such courage to overcome the expectation of something being easy and then to find out it's really, really hard. That's what Eco Challenge is all about though. Digging deep in your soul and keeping going. It's a race about character.
I remember that whole entire section being a very, very difficult one for me. I was pushed to my limit. It was incredibly hot. My feet hurt so bad. The terrain was really uneven, and the section was a lot longer than we ever dreamed it was. So my expectations of having a nice short caving section and a run back to the beach became this 6-hour night marathon on really, really bad feet with the team right on our heels.
Can I get a man in leopard skin Lycra, people? But you guys have had that moment though, haven't you? You know, in your hotel or in your career, where you have this crazy, hairy, audacious goal and you have this amazing team, and you operate with one heart and one mind in pursuit of that goal, when you cross the finish line, it's the best feeling in the world, isn't it? And that only happens when you, as a leader, create that 100% total commitment to the finish line. All right, next essential element of building world-class teams is all about your ability to inspire yourself and your team members through times of great challenge, change, and adversity. Because if there's one thing that everybody in this room knows, dealing with the crazy changes in people's personal economy and how and when they travel, and technology, how they want to interface with us, how they want to book our resorts, competitors nipping at your heels, especially the non-conventional ones, and that crazy roller coaster of finding and retaining amazing talent and just running a business. We all know that change is the only thing that's ever going to stay the same in your life, right? It's how we respond to change that dictates our success. And we also know that no matter how hard we try or how well we plan, a journey of 1,000 miles sometimes ends very, very badly. Stuff happens, man. You know, some days we're the bear, right? You know, we got salmon jumping in our mouths all day long. Some days we're the salmon. So how do we keep ourselves and our team members inspired on those salmon days? Maybe not just survive them, but maybe even use those salmon days as a springboard. You know, way to take things up a notch. Well, a lot of it, of course, is your attitude. Do you see and speak to your team members in challenges versus roadblocks? When you play something as a challenge, it helps people rise to the occasion. It's part of your history. They always want to rise when there's a challenge. And are you consistently ruled by the hope of success versus the fear of failure? Where you focus your energy and intent and effort leads you to two completely different finish lines. Next time you're faced with a difficult challenge, think about where your brain goes and hibernates. Are you a person that kind of lives in, what are my fears, my concerns, my obstacles, my worries, and you kind of stew around there? Or are you a person that says, yep, all these things are going on, but guess what? I still got to find a way to win. What is my fastest, best way to this finish line? Now, I learned this lesson the hard way from my buddy Ian, first time I raced with the best team in the world. And we're in Ecuador in the French version of the Eco Challenge called the Raid Gauloise. And of course, we're racing the French, Team Intersport, at the front of the pack for 6 days. We can't shake each other. Day 7, we started 3 days downriver to the finish line. And it started with each team in a whitewater raft. So we jumped in ours, they jumped in theirs. And my brain had operated on fear of failure my entire life. So of course, my focus was on them, right? Were they gaining on us? Were we going to lose? So as we're going down the river, I would paddle, 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 turn around, paddle, 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 turn around. I did this for hours, seeing if we were going to lose. And finally, my buddy Ian, who was sitting behind me in the boat, steering, he was so annoyed by where my focus was on simply not losing, that the next time I turned around to see where they were, he was actually so mad. He took his paddle and he threw it down in the boat, all pissed off. And he grabbed the top of my head, which was facing backwards, and he physically spun my head back around to face forwards downriver. And he leaned over, and in my ear, he said, "Winning is that way."